ለመማር ወደ ትምህርት ተቋም መሄድ ግድ አይደለም።
ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
ራሳችሁን ከኮሮና ቫይረስ ወረርሽኝ እየጠበቃችሁ በቤታችሁ ወይም በተመቻችሁ ቦታ
በኢንተርኔት አማካኝነት በኦንላይን ትምህርታችሁን መከታተል ይቻላል።
ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና
ከእንግሊዙ ኢንስቲትዩት ኦፍ ኮመርሻል ማኔጅመንት ICM ጋር በመተባበር የሚሰጡ ትምህርቶችን ተከታትላችሁ በ6 ወር ጊዜ በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ተቀባይነት ያለውን የስልጠና ማስረጃ ባለቤት መሆን ይቻላል።
ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና ባገኘንባቸው የፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን እና የሆስተስ ስልጠናም በምዝገባ ላይ ነን።
ጥያቄና መልስ፣ የክፍል ስራዎች ብሎም ፈተና መፈተን ክፍል ውስጥ እንዳላችሁ አይነት
ልምድ ባላቸው መምህራን እየተማራችሁ
በኦንላይን ባላችሁበት ቦታ
አድራሻ ከ22 ማዞሪያ ወደ ሾላ ገበያ በሚወስደው መንገድ 150 ሜትር ገባ ብሎ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ
ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
Has it come?
Yes.
Okay. So, that is the course, International Economic Regulation and Competition Policy. I'm just going to run through the contents, then we can look at the way forward. This course code is ITECO 311. I'm the instructor, and we shall be taking 2 hours, 5 to 7 on Tuesdays and 5 to 7 on Thursdays. The course description. The main points in this course are economic impact of competition, regulatory policies, market definition, restrictive trade practices. So actually what we did when the last time I was there, we shared a bit what it means to have a perfect market. In fact, if you're not familiar with perfect market, that's the first thing you're going to do after the lecture. To revise your notes on perfect market, you must know what we mean by perfect market. Yeah, where we have many consumers, many suppliers, we have perfect knowledge in the market. You must know the characteristics of perfect market so that you are able to understand this course, because this course is going to look at markets that are not perfect and what we can do about it so that we reduce the imperfection in the market. So if you're not familiar with the perfect market, there's a lot of literature on it, and that's what you'll read. What is perfect market? And what makes a market not perfect? And that's what we are going to look at under regulatory policies of how we regulate the market, restrictive trade practices. We shall see how few individuals can control the market, or markets can be seized by one person or few people. So how do people control the market, particularly the suppliers? The consumers can also control the market, but in many cases, the suppliers who control the market. So how do we reduce the control of the market by few individuals or one individual? Yeah, because we want the people to have perfect competition, free competition, so that there's no monopoly, for instance. So this is the background of this course. So it assumes that you already know what a perfect market is. Other areas we're going to look at, introduction to competition policy and economic regulation. Yeah. So when I mean economic regulation, I'm looking at how we regulate the market that's not perfect, so that we reduce imperfection. So we shall look at the issues of natural monopoly problem. There are some enterprises where we are monopoly because of natural assets. For instance, if you control a lake in Ethiopia, you will be the only person supplying fish from that lake. So in other words, you become a natural monopolist. Yeah, this is what you mean by natural monopoly problem. There are also problems due to barriers to entry. You can refuse others to join you in the market by putting barriers there. Yeah, by taking market power, strategic behavior. This leads to market failures. So as again, I'm still emphasizing, between now and the next lecture, please make sure you are very conversant with what a perfect market is, so that we can talk about imperfect market, the forms of imperfection, and what the government can do to reduce imperfections. Because for a welfare society, we need to reduce imperfection in the market as much as possible, to let people compete to supply and consume commodities that are produced. So the government can come in with things like competition policy, where they control competition, economic regulations, industrial policies. They can use licensing to control, to bring sanity into the market. In other words, to reduce imperfection. They can use incentives to regulate the market. So these are some of the things we should look at. First, we are saying this cause the market is no longer perfect. But now, what can the government do when the market is not perfect? The government can reduce imperfection in the market by putting into place some of these things, the policies we shall look at, the regulations the government can use, the licenses, the incentives. These are the things we shall be looking at in this course. Of course, when we talk of a market, we talk of market structures, market and the evaluation of market power, demand substitution. Again, once you have understood what a perfect market is, from your introductory macroeconomics, that's a course which you should have done on macroeconomics. That course, I mean microeconomics, sorry, microeconomics is a course on markets, yeah, in microeconomics. It's a course on markets. It shows you the types of markets that we have, yeah, the perfect and the imperfect. Then in the imperfect market, we have monopoly, for instance, duopoly, oligopoly, etc., etc. So these are market structures that we shall be talking about. So from a perfect market, we move to imperfect market, and the imperfect market has many categories. It's not just one. There are almost 10 categories, which you should look at before. Then we can go according to each one of them. How can the imperfection be controlled by the government, for instance? So that's what we shall be, when we talk of competition policy, this is what we shall be looking at, competition policy. This should be competition. Competition policy, yeah. Abuse of dominance. You know, if you're alone in the market, if you're the only one supplying fish from Lake Tana, you can abuse the market. You can charge a price you want. People can take it or leave it. You see that? That's abuse of the market. Because you are doing this because you're the only supplier. They have no alternative. They are forced to buy at the price, given the quantity of supply. Or sometimes farms may agree among themselves, control the market. So we shall look at horizontal agreements and vertical agreements. Yeah. We shall look at industrial organization models and competition and applications of competition policy and regulation. Then lastly, we shall look at restrictive trade practices, which include, among the other things, sorry, I didn't, should have this aside, like price discrimination, yeah, underwriting rivalry, and exclusive dealing. These are some of the restrictive practices that we shall be looking at in detail. So for you to understand this course, and I still insist, you must go back to your microeconomics. If you're not, if you have forgotten, or if you never went through it, go revise markets. And in particular, read in detail perfect markets and then imperfect markets. Then this course assumes that you know both markets, perfect and imperfect. And now it goes into the policy, how to control the imperfection. You see, so it assumes you know both perfect and imperfect markets. So those are not the things we shall do in this course, like telling you these are the characteristics of perfect market. This is the characteristics of imperfect markets. These are the types of imperfect markets. It assumes that you already know the two. So it goes into issues to do with the control of imperfections, reduction of imperfections in the market, so that the government can make the market more competitive, more free, yeah, not under control of certain suppliers or consumers. Consumers can also control a market. Yeah, there are some products where there's only one consumer in the market, and that one can dictate to the suppliers, I'm not buying at that price, I'm buying at this price. Yeah, so those examples, you need to be familiar with them, so that when we shall be talking about policies, strategies, and other ways of reducing competition, you understand. So learning outcomes from this course, you should be able to understand the rationale for regulations, policies to deal with competition. Yeah. So the policies that we use to deal with the markets where we lack competition, you should be able to evaluate the policy decisions using relevant economic theory. You should be able to analyze competition policy and regulatory choices. Yeah. So in other words, once the market is imperfect, how do we reduce its imperfection and make it as less imperfect as possible and more perfect as possible? Yeah, this is what we are looking at. The books that we shall be using, and I hope you received this book. I said it earlier. Otherwise, if you don't have it, I will send it. I have a copy of this. Competition Law and Economic Regulation. That's the main textbook recommended by your curriculum. Competition Law and Economic Regulation, Making and Managing Markets. Yeah. Other resources, reference material, they are there. How should your institutions approach enforcement? A reflection on South Africa's experience. Number 2, concentration, competition policy, and the role of small and medium-sized enterprises. Number 3, international and comparable law quarterly. These are just some references. But I also have references that I will send to you, even though they are not in your curriculum, which I will continue giving you updated references from lecture to lecture. We shall not just rely on this alone. There are now more literature coming out in this area that is more relevant, for instance, at this time and Ethiopia. So I will also send you those that material to have. So generally, that is the core. That's the idea behind this course. Yeah, in microeconomics, you did perfect markets and imperfect markets. You did characteristics of perfect market. You did characteristics of imperfect markets. And then you did types of imperfect markets. You see that? Monopoly, duopoly, discriminating monopolist, yeah, monopsonist. Those are types of imperfection. Now this course tries to come up with policies, strategies of reducing imperfection, because at the end of the day, we want the markets to be as perfect as possible so that people can compete almost on equal ground. Yeah, you can enter the market or leave the market. Nobody should tell you to leave the market. You can enter and leave when you want. There are no restrictions to enter. There are no controls. There are no cartels in the market. Yeah, this is the market we are looking for. So how do we reach that market? So this course, moving markets towards perfection. Comments on the general outline of the course?
በትምህርት ከፍ ብሎ መብረር ይቻላል። ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ከከፍተኛ ትምህርት አግባብነትና ጥራት ኤጀንሲ ሙሉ ዕውቅናን ባገኘንባቸው በማስተርስ ዲግሪ ኤምቢኤ በስትራቴጂክ ማኔጅመንት፣ ኤምቢኤ በባንኪንግ እና ፋይናንስ፣ ኤምቢኤ በቢዝነስ ሊደርሺፕ፣ ኤምቢኤ በሪስክና ኢንሹራንስ፣ ኤምኤስሲ በኢንተርናሽናል ትሬድ እና ኢኮኖሚክስ ዘርፎች በእውቀት ለመቅረጽ የበቁ ፕሮፌሰሮቻችን አረንጓዴ መብራታቸውን አብርተዋል። በነገራችን ላይ በኬንያ ሀገር ከሚገኙ ስመጥር ዩኒቨርሲቲዎች በሚመጡ ፕሮፌሰሮች የትኩረት መስክ ትምህርቶቹ መሰጠታቸው ልዩ ያደርገናል። በምርጥ የትምህርት ስርዓት የተገነባው ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ በመጀመሪያ ዲግሪ በአቪዬሽን ማኔጅመንት፣ በሆቴል ማኔጅመንት፣ በአካውንቲንግና ፋይናንስ፣ በማርኬቲንግ ማኔጅመንት አስተማማኝ ትምህርት ይገቢውና ራስዎንና ሀገሮን ይለውጡ። አድራሻ 22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
Any comments?
I think it is good when we see the course outline. We'll have something better to know this course.
Yeah.
So we shall continue by this mode.
So you have not received the course outline?
We didn't receive it.
Why are you giving the course outline?
I don't know. I didn't receive it.
Did you receive? Oh, okay. I'm assuming you had received it and you looked at it because I had sent them earlier.
I don't know. I didn't take it.
Okay.
Hello, Prof.
Yes, yes.
Hello. You can send us anytime
Yes,
via email.
I'm getting you.
You can send us via email.
Okay,
Prof.
via email, yeah.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
send us. You can send us. You can.
I'll send
us.
you by email.
Yeah, via email.
Yes, I'll send it by email. I'll
Yeah,
send it
yeah.
by email, and I also
Okay.
send some reading material.
That's
Okay.
great.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but what's your knowledge of perfect market and microeconomics? Are you all familiar with it?
Yeah, we took the course. We understand.
You
what
took it, all of you took the course.
Yeah.
All of you took the course on micro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Ah, very good, very good. So if you took a course on micro, please just before we go into the nitty-gritties, the course in detail, please revise markets. Is that clear? Perfect and imperfect markets. Because I will be assuming that you have full knowledge of the two markets.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise you will not understand me. If you don't understand the two markets, perfect and imperfect, you will not be understanding me in the class. It will be difficult for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why today I just wanted to expose to you what shall be doing and what I expect from you, so that between now and Tuesday, you have time to revise and very clear with the perfect market and the perfect market, which are available in any microeconomics textbook. And I'm very happy that you did that in the other course, in another course. So I will send the course outline again to you, and then on Tuesday, I will be looking at these international economic regulations. Now that will assume that you already know, you already have grasped the perfect and imperfect markets. So we shall have several things to do there, but I don't want to go through it now until I'm comfortable that you have revised the markets I've talked about. You are familiar with such graphs? Profit maximization? in a perfect and imperfect market. You're familiar?
Yeah, we took it. We'll
Very good.
revise it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, revise it. How do you maximize profits in a perfect market? How do you maximize profits in imperfect
In
market?
imperfect market, yeah.
Yes, under different types of imperfect market, not just imperfect market in general, but if it's a monopolist, how do you maximize profits? Discriminating monopolist, monopsonist, yeah, oligopolist, duopolist.
Yeah.
How do you maximize profits? Yeah. So when we shall be discussing this next week, I hope you would have had time to revise those things, because you used a lot of marginal costing, marginal revenue, and I'll be assuming that you are familiar with such terminologies. Yeah? Average
It will
cost
be
pricing.
a revision for us.
Yeah?
It will be a good revision for us.
Yes, yes. So I'm just showing you what I will be talking about next week. Marginal cost pricing, average cost pricing, yeah, regulating non-monopolies industries, regulating non-monopolies industries continued, social regulations, yeah, incentives. So all of this is based on the knowledge of that the market under microeconomics. So I don't want to go into the details today on this because you need to revise that and be very clear so that we are together. Yeah, there will be slides on monopoly trade practices, regulation of monopoly, restrictive trade practices, yeah, unfair trade practices, regulations of unfair trade practices, evolution of competition policy and law. What's competition? Of course, competition policy. These are ways the government can use to solve issues of imperfection in the market. Yeah? Why do we want to have a perfect market? Why do we hope that in the end everybody will benefit society? Society will have the highest welfare when the markets are perfect. Yeah, benefits to efficient producers, components of competition policy, competition law. Yeah, so there's a law to control competition, so that the market should not lead towards imperfection. Yeah. So these are the things that we shall be dealing with in this course. But anyhow, this is I will send the course outline, which will include the reading list, and I will send some material that can help you in your revision. And then in the first lecture, which will be on, as I will say, the next lecture on Tuesday, I will be dealing with these slides that will assume that you know imperfect market and how profits are maximized in those markets. Yeah, either by, of course, in an imperfect market, you can. There are two things you can control: price and quantity. You can never control both. You only control one of those. If you control the price, the consumers determine the quantity. If you control the quantity, the consumers will determine the price. You see that? That is the logic behind the perfect markets. To know how much is produced and what price is charged depends on what you're controlling, what you choose to control, if you're a monopolist. But anyhow, that's a language we shall be talking in the due course as we proceed with this course. I will also send some slides where I've made some few notes in Word document, just market competition to help you revise. To help you revise. So I will give you some notes on price discrimination. condition as imperfect because there exists a difference in elasticity of demand and market imperfection, differentiated product to revise your microeconomics. But third degree. Have you had microeconomics? Price discrimination. Market structures, characteristics, comparisons. Yeah. So the detailed notes, these are just to help you to revise your microeconomics. So that when you meet on Tuesday, this must be at your fingertips. This must be at your fingertips before the class on Tuesday. Yeah. So this is just summarized notes to help you revise, and so that you are very clear of what I'm expecting from you, from your knowledge of microeconomics. Yeah. So this, I will be sending you this just as a guide for revision. Again, for assignments, I'll also send you assignment for the semester. We shall do as we did last time. If you attended my class last time, it was on foreign exchange markets. Again, you look for papers in a reviewed papers in international journals that touch on markets, market regulations, and review. Take one and review it, by giving me, indicating clearly the research problem of that paper, objectives, questions or hypotheses of that paper, the significant justification of the paper that you have chosen. You will give me in detail the theoretical conceptual framework of that paper, the methodology used in that paper, data, how it was collected, the models used, the analysis, the findings and conclusions of that paper, policy implications for Ethiopia from that paper, critique of the scientific work in that paper, and areas of other research. This will be your assignment. So you can start looking at it from now until the end of the semester. You will submit this to as your coursework. Yeah. So as you go along, you should be thinking of a very reputable journal and a paper that is related to this course, and read that paper thoroughly. Look for references, read the references, and then come and do this assignment on that paper, just like we did last time. So that will be the assignment for this course. So I hope we are together. You have gotten the assignment?
Yes.
My people.
Yeah, we got it.
My people in Addis, you have gotten the assignment?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, okay. So let's leave it at that, and let me now send you the things. The next 10 minutes, you'll have them in your email. And then from there, I think we can form one WhatsApp group for the 8 of us. One WhatsApp group, yeah?
Okay.
And then we can be communicating. Even if there's something, you don't have to wait until the class starts. We can even sort out some issues on WhatsApp. Yeah, so let the host form a WhatsApp group for this class. So we shall also have one email. We shall also have an email. But for now, I have your individual emails. I'll use it. And if you have any problems before Tuesday, we can always address them on WhatsApp, so that by Tuesday we are prepared, to analyze this course at this level, which assumes that we know both perfect and imperfect markets, in detail, because this is a policy course, it's not a course to teach you the basics. It's a course to apply the basics to reality. It's a policy course. To move imperfect market towards perfect market. To reduce imperfections, to increase perfection in the market. So it's like asking the government, what will you do? So I will be asking you to come up with to find out the competition policy for Ethiopia. It is there. I saw in the internet. Possibly now there could be a data edition on the competition policy, how the government controls competition in Ethiopia. So that's applicable, practically applicable. This is a practically applicable course. It's not a theoretical course as such. Theoretical, you already did the theoretical underpinnings of this course under microeconomics, markets, both perfect and imperfect. So if there's no other comments, questions, we shall continue communicating through WhatsApp, and as we prepare for a detailed analysis of this course, applying theoretical considerations that you did to practical reality. As I said, this is an applied course. So otherwise then, have a good evening.
ልዩነት መፍጠር ዓላማችን ነው። ዓለም አቀፍ ተወዳዳሪ መሆን አለባችሁ። የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ ጥራትና ደረጃውን የጠበቀ ስልጠና በመስጠት ብቁ ዜጋ እያፈራን ነው። በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን፣ በበረራ መስተንግዶ፣ በቲኬቲንግና ሪዘርቬሽን፣ በሆቴልና ቱሪዝም ሙያዎች አሰልጥነን ተወዳዳሪ እናደርጉታለን። ኮሌጃችን ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና ከእንግሊዙ አይሲኤም ጋር በመተባበር ዓለም አቀፍ ዕውቅና ያለው ስልጠና እየሰጠ ይገኛል። በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን፣ በበረራ መስተንግዶ የምንሰጣቸው ስልጠና ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና አለው። አድራሻ ከጎላጉል ታወር 22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።